So hey guys, it's Voice in the Fog again this side, and we are here with another video. And as promised, I will be uploading videos every single day for NEET PG preparation. I want to map out the entire thing about NEET PG, all the myths. I don't want anyone to be in confusion. I know a lot of advices on YouTube and everything are definitely not sufficient. They are from people who are faculty members who are actually not into the grind right now, or maybe the things have changed as compared to back then. So I think basically someone who has actually experienced the grind, and not only someone basically who just basically existed, studied because they were prodigies. They did not know themselves how they actually studied and basically got great ranks without even knowing, and then basically preparing speeches for their interviews. And people who are desperate and studying really hard are actually listening to these interviews which are prepared by them just before the interview call, So these kind of things I don't want to exist anymore, and once and for all I want to create videos. So that's why I've already done with 3 videos, and slowly we are building more, of course tailoring to the ones who really need it right now. That's why I'm really focusing on the comments. So if you guys have your problem, you can comment down, and definitely I'll maintain you guys anonymous, and I'll solve all the problems in depth and in detail. So in this video, we are talking about a complete roadmap, right? So we will tell you how a typical day should look like, how a typical week should look like, and definitely we'll clear the fluff around the revisions and everything, and about the first read and second read, third read, everything, right? So doubting and everything. So yeah, absolutely. We will also basically give the checklists. So right now, how you should approach, as I have already told you in my previous videos, that you have to first step is definitely setting your goal high, and forget your past, because your past is the only thing that will interfere in this. And if you don't clear your past, then you don't want you to be standing between you and your own goal, right? So this is your goal, and this is you, and you are actually standing in between your own goal. Okay, so you don't want that to happen, right? So first of all, you have to forget the past and basically make a goal. If you have a good amount of time with you, I think you should definitely go for a big goal, right? So goal should be AIR-1. Of course, have already previously mentioned that AIR-1 is a matter of luck, but 1 to 100 is not a matter of luck. A guy who scored All India rank 100 could end up getting an All India rank 1 if NEET is conducted again the next week, and a guy who scored an All India rank 1 can get an All India rank 100 if the NEET is conducted again. So it completely depends on luck factor and how your brain responds to things. It's not even in your hand. No matter how much you train your brain, many things are just not in your hands, and I think we should accept things that way only, right? So definitely you have established a goal, a big goal, right? If you aim for the stars, you land up on the moon, right? Absolutely. Now the next thing comes a roadmap, because many times we don't have a roadmap, and even if we have one, most of our time goes into planning, isn't it? Planning is the most beautiful thing anyone can do, right? Very beautiful. You love to plan. After this, these many reads will be done, and I will get these many scores. I will be above 120 by this time, 150 by this time, and to above 200 by a certain time, right? That you love, really love to plan, right? Isn't it? But then comes the execution. That's the toughest thing. So I want to give you a plan, definitely, but more importantly, I'll give you execution hacks, and I'll tell you where you will falter, because I know where you will falter. Everyone's minds is the same, right? All of us are Homo sapiens. So I know where you will basically falter, and I want you to warn you before ahead, and I want you to give the tools that you can actually use whenever that particular problem arises. Okay. So along with the roadmap, we'll tell the execution hacks. So definitely everyone starts with the first read. It's a very beautiful concept that if you think that the road is very big, right? So this is the hammering method actually, which has been used by the ancient times to deal with the procrastination. Okay. Then hammering means basically there's a big task, and you actually break it down into multiple small tasks, right? And then you further break it down to multiple small tasks. This is known as the hammering method. So someone, if they made it this first read, second read, third read, it's a very, very beautiful concept. I really am grateful for that person, whoever made this concept. Okay, so we will start with the first read. Definitely in the first read, I've already told you in my previous video lectures, we've in detail discussed about the main QBank. We have talked about the main notes, but still don't worry, I am going to talk about it here as well a little bit, right? I'll touch on it. So first read, definitely you have to do your main QBank no matter what. And when you do your main QBank, make sure that you use this basically separate bookmarks. I used this red star bookmark for anything, any questions which are actually not in RR, okay, not in your rapid revision. I know your main source is rapid revision, it's not main notes, but if it's main notes, then you can basically tailor it according to you. But I know if you are watching this video, you are not using main notes, you are using RR, because if you are able to read main notes and prepare from that, you are definitely not looking for guidance on YouTube. You know that you will land up a good rank. Okay, this QBank, this bookmark actually basically is for any PYQs which you feel that you cannot put it in your notes. Otherwise, rest of the PYQs, okay, the rest of the PYQs go to your notes. Okay, you add it to your notes. If they are already there with a red color pen, you mark it as NEET or you mark it as AIMS, but that particular line. Okay, you have to mark that, so that in the last 15 days, I'm telling you, it's full of anxiety. Please don't think that you will be able to revise all the RR. Say even if you have revised it more than 5 times, there's hell lot of anxiety. You are already burnt out. You don't feel like reading end to end. Trust me. Even if you think that you can do it, just follow this right now. Just see, you will be seeing that this is actually marked as NEET. This is really marked as AIMS. So only the red portion you will be going through, and right, in the last few days, which will make it really easier for you to filter out the information which you don't need to read, right? That's the trick here, right? So this is how you have to approach the QBank. Secondly, approaching the subjects. Of course, you have to give certain time durations and how much time you have to cover the subject. For example, you say that, okay, in 4 days I will be covering anatomy, but the fact is that the game here is that you are not every single day, you know, preparing it with full intensity. I know that you will only prepare for 2.5 days and then 1.5 days you will falter. Doesn't matter. This is where you will fall. Okay. But why do you fall, sir? To rise back again. So what can you do in this game? I already told you that you have to make a target of more than equal to 4 days a week of studying. Not only studying, but actually active recall. Okay. Of active recall. Then there are days which you don't feel like studying, right? When you don't feel like studying, we are not going to waste those days. We might be watching video lectures. For example, you woke up in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed, okay? You just don't want to get out of bed. You just cannot study. Your brain literally rebels that you cannot study, right? Go and start watching video lectures. This might build momentum and you can actually jump into active recall. It's a different thing. It's a different, we can make a literally an entire video about how to study when you don't feel like it, okay? So you have to basically watch video lectures. You can even basically solve questions the entire day. Even if you haven't read that topic, you can. The Marrow QBank is so beautiful that if you just basically start solving the question, even if you get all the questions wrong, let's say there are 20 questions and you get 0 out of 20, even after that, by the time you've reached the 20 questions and you read all the explanations beautifully, I think you will have a very amazing concepts of that particular topic. Okay, you can just basically solve questions in entirety the entire day and keep marking this thing in your notes. Okay, you can just do that. Don't wait for the perfect thing to happen, that first I will read my notes, then I will go and solve the questions. You can do this if you are motivated all the time, but no one is motivated all the time. Sometimes your mind literally rebels you, and that's when you have to basically use momentum to slide in. Even if you don't feel like watching video lectures or questions, just make sure that you sit on the table, right? Sit on your table or wherever basically you want to change places. Okay, we again hammer method. Okay, just convince your mind to sit on the table. That's the easiest thing. Okay, eventually start with, okay, only 5 minutes of video lectures, then I will close the tab, or only basically 5 questions, then I will close the book. And in the 99% cases you will actually maintain the momentum. That's the thing. Even if you don't maintain the momentum, congratulations, you at least did 5 minutes of video lectures or 5 questions, right? So you have a win-win situation. You just have to build the momentum. Motivation is only good to get started. Momentum is what keeps you going, and that's what we call discipline, right? So coming back to the deal. So let's say basically you give 4 days to anatomy, and you give yeah. So what you do is that basically you start in the morning. Definitely you build a beautiful morning schedule, right? You build a morning schedule. We will make a separate video on schedule. Everything I cannot get into that, but basic schedule. We know that we have to give a morning slot. We have to give an afternoon slot. This is 4 hours. You can tailor it according to yourself. I was giving morning as 5 hours, and then evening was around 4 hours. Then again it was basically 4 hours of passive stuff, or like half passive, half active, something like that. Okay, so you can actually tailor it, but you have to make your schedule into 3 to 4 parts, right? Again, the hammer method, you have to use the hammer method, and you can actually this is how basically you can build your schedule. And eventually in the first part you can definitely go for active recall, actively engage in this with the subject. And then at night actually solve the questions, main QBank, and watch any video lectures if you want, something like that you can do, right? So this is what you have to do. And now comes the tricky part, okay? Comes the tricky part, which is the subject-wise test. Why I'm saying it's tricky? Like everywhere, you haven't heard about this, right? Or everywhere they talk about GTs and custom modules, right? No one talks about the subject-wise test. First of all, enroll into a very nice test and discussion. If you don't want to enroll into a test and discussion, and you are on Marrow platform, I think I actually never enrolled into test and discussion. I was following the Marrow schedule, right? So Marrow, what it does is that it hosts 1 to 50 it hosts these subject tests, and then 1 to 50 ranks are actually displayed, right? So this is actually the motivation, and this actually pushes you. This is actually gives you the adrenaline rush, because you are not a monk, you are not self-motivated or eternally bliss, something like that. You are not like that. You are human, and you have to treat yourself like a human. Okay, so you know that this is very important. This motivation is very important. Okay, so what you do is that it's very easy to get into this 1 to 50. Now I just wanted to tell you the subject wise test psychology. So what happens is that when you do your rapid revision notes, okay, of course if you are starting from after a long time, or you think your concepts are vague, you can use the main notes. But with main notes you have to keep your RR by the side, and you have to rote learn. You have to increase your study hours in the first read if you are using the main notes. Otherwise, that's also fine. What I used to do, I know it's the toughest thing. It's a tough thing, because in my videos you have seen that I already emphasize on something which people call inhuman, or extreme discipline, right? So I don't know if you guys will agree to it, but I'll just share you my method, because I don't know. But if you guys follow it, you are literally going to get great results. Okay, so rapid revision is basically what I used to do is that I used to make flashcards out of it. Okay, flashcards out of it. I used to click photos of the entire page, and if for example if there's a small heading, right? So let's say if there's a tryptophan metabolism heading, so that table, that thing about tryptophan, that how it happens and everything and all, right? So all these basically byproducts and all the enzymes, I used to just basically erase them, whiten out them, and then basically post it in the picture, and then I have to basically guess what was actually here, right? So it takes time, of course. In your passive reading stuff, again you have to increase your time to 14 hours, increase your time to 16 hours, right? कहाँ बचा के लेके जाओगे मेहनत को, है ना? घर थोड़ी लेके जानी है मेहनत, बचा के लगा दो जितनी है, right? So tryptophan metabolism, you are basically after recalling, and this is how you can actually, after the flashcards, after using the Anki app, right? I was able to tell like every single thing. If you tell me a line from a page, let's say page number 4, if you tell me a line, I can tell you what's written above the line, what's written below the line, what's the image which is basically on the right side, what is on the basically left side. I can tell you every single thing. So this is how you can actually do it. You make flashcards. If you don't want to make flashcards, you can go with basic active recall, but trust me, basic active recall doesn't basically works as well as basically Anki flashcards. Okay, so this is what you can do. Okay, now coming back to our thing, you can basically read the main notes, and then you can rote learn the rapid revision, because that's very important. That's the most important thing, and you can basically do the QBank and mark everything and all, right? If you feel that what I'm telling you is a bit daunting, then please, my friend, don't aim for the stars. Aim for 10k rank or a 15k rank or 20k rank, and you can land up anywhere. Like life will happen to you, right? You won't control life, then life will control you, right? So you don't want a person who life controls you. You want that you control life. Okay, so this is how you actually control life. Okay, anyways, coming back. So you have to basically roll on your rapid revision. So it might actually take 4 days, or let's say basically for the subject you actually took 7 days, doesn't matter, right? After 4 days, I won't recommend you to go beyond with the same subject, because then you actually build saturation. But anyways, let's say you take 4 days. On the 5th day, what you're going to do, it will be your last day for the subject, and you have to go through the entire RR once again. After that, you have to mark your star mark basically questions. You have to solve your star mark questions in the QBank, which you actually did. And basically a few these wale bookmarks questions which you have already done, and also you have already marked all your NEET and AIMS question, added the information in your rapid revision. Okay, you have already added it. Now you are done with every single thing, right? Every single thing. What you are going to do now, if you are going to give a custom module, okay, custom module is from the QBank, and you have done all the QBank almost, because the things which are actually given in your rapid revision, you haven't bookmarked in the QBank, and you have already basically revised it using rapid revision. You have done all your previous year questions, you have done all the other important previous year questions which you could not add into your notes, and you have done all the rest of the QBank. Now what you're going to do, even if you give a custom module, you are going to score a 45 plus out of 50, trust me, right? If you want to put in this extra, go into this extra mile, what I used to do is that I used to solve 2 subject-wise tests beforehand, because Marrow usually repeats questions. But anyways, it's a different thing. And then what you can do is, when you actually finally solve your subject-wise test, which is actually live, right? You will realize that you are scoring 45 plus. And when you score 45 plus, you are in top 50. And now your motivation, every time you will be in top 50, your motivation will be, first of all, I have to be in top 50. Secondly, I want to get into top 10. I want to get 1. I want to get 1 or 2 or 3, right? Even one question actually matters a lot, because like 47 pe, there are like 10 people sitting. Okay. So this is what actually happens, right? Aim for a 50 out of 50. This is how you become the greatest of all times. Okay. Not only cheering for Virat Kohli, but being like him. So, this is how you actually build your empire. And yeah, you can definitely go for 2 to 3 subject wise tests before basically giving that test on the 5th day, right? This is how you actually proceed. Now this is how you actually want to complete everything. But then this comment also mentions that many people advise you that start your second read, or you can say revision, alongside the first read. Okay, alongside the first read. This is very, very important. Otherwise, you will again land up into that 99% people zone, that is stuck GT scores. Why this happens? I have explained you earlier in my videos. A quick brief again. This happens because in rapid revisions, you only know 50 to 60% of the content at a particular point of time, because in the first read, you are taking 6 months, or even you can say you are taking 3 months, right? So what happens is that whatever you read in basically first month, it vanishes from your brain after 15 days. Within 15 days it vanishes, right? So सोचो आपने जो first month में किया था, second month में किया था, third, everything is basically gone. So 40 to 60 भी बहुत ज़्यादा है, आपको सिर्फ 50 to 60 बहुत ज़्यादा है, आपको सिर्फ 40% ही याद होगा material, right? So that's why you will be in the stuck GT zone, or mostly you will be, after completing a rapid revision, you will be in 120 to 130. अगर आपने ठीक से rapid revision भी नहीं किया अभी, आप 100 से 120 के बीच में घूम रहे होगे, right? So this is what will be your score. If you want to push through 120 to 130, mastering rapid revision gets you to 150. And then doing previous GTs, revising mistake notebooks, volatile topics and everything, and doing these bookmarked ones, they take you to 175 plus. Am I right? So what you have to do, you know that you have this 15 days bracket if you want to keep subjects fresh. Also, if you basically delay it, right, you take up, let's say you did anatomy in basically 5 days, as I told you, right? Now you take up anatomy again after 3 months. You are going to take 3 to 4 days again. What's the use? If you try to compress it in 2 days, quality won't be good. What's the use? What's the use? There's no use, right? So you have to make a document or A4 size sheet, and you have to write that how much time have you taken. Like for example, you did anatomy, you write a date, and you write it ki kab tak karna hai, right? You write another date, like after 15 days, and you have to go through it, because now you are just going to take half a day, my friend, just half a day. You're actually saving your time. Every 15 days, once the subject is done, this way, your first read might take, instead of 6 months, it might take 7 or 8. But you have mastered all the subjects. Now you have like 80% knowledge of your stuff. You have made a mistake notebook of all your GT volatile topics mistake, right? You solve a GT, you see what all you read from rapid revision, but still you got it wrong because you knew where it was written in the page, but you could not recall it. You write it down in that basically notebook, right? That's what personalized, right? Everyone's got this personalized thing. No one, I know people who never need to, see Abgar score again, but I used to get it again and again wrong. There are people who don't need to see GCS again and again. I used to get it wrong. So I added it in my notebook, right? I did it in my notebook, right? So this is where you build your empire. And after 8 months, right? After 8 months, definitely you, after 15 days, when I tell you to basically solve, to just basically read this particular notes, I want you to solve this bookmark stuff as well, to bookmark questions of that particular thing as well, because you will keep reducing them eventually, because you don't need to see easy things again and again, right? So what happens is that after 8 months, you are at 160 plus. When your friends are hardly breathing, they are anxious, they are being humbled, and their expectations are being broken, and they are actually getting a 110, or they are still getting a 120, and they're thinking that I wish I could just basically reach 130. You are a 160 plus man. And with further revisions, now further revisions are very, very easy, simple. You can even go retrograde, whatever you want. You can just slightly and gently, by giving more and more GTs, increasing the frequencies of GTs. I used to, at last month, I used to give GTs 2 per week, right? On Sundays and Thursdays, right? So you can do this, or this is how you will actually boost it to 175 plus. And within, I'll say 10 to 11 months, you are there as a very strong contestant for rank 1. And if you think that some random RR, doing just RR and just doing PYQs, and let's just basically attend the BTR also and doing that stuff, you can actually break through into the under 100. Please, I told you in the past video as well, go to your nice bed and keep dreaming, because it's never going to happen. Okay, no matter how many stories you have heard, there are so many things which a lot of stories miss, right? We are not going to talk about that, right? I had a senior, he was all-time gold medalist. Okay, he was a very, very strong gold medalist. His percentages were above 75 plus. He started with a baseline score of 140. He just did BTR, and in the first reading he did rapid revision, and he scored a great under 100 rank. Okay, so if you are listening to stories of these people, please ask them what was their percentage, MBBS aggregate. They have read standard textbooks. I know people, this guy used to give his profs with PSM, okay? Prof PSM, PSM prof with reading the standard book, Park, okay? He used to do it with Park. I know many people have not even opened Park in their entire life, and they have just basically used the coaching main notes and everything to pass, okay? I know he used to give his prof using Robbins. For medicine, he prepared using Harrison. Okay, don't compete with these people. They are prodigies, and the reason they are prodigies, it's not that they don't work hard. It's because, yeah, exactly, they now don't work hard, but they have put in the work when they were kids. Their parents made to do them, right? They are class toppers since class 2, okay? You have to pay the price if you want to be like them, right? अगर कोई जिम जाता है, जिम जाने के बाद आपकी बॉडी बन जाती है. बॉडी बनने के बाद क्या होता है, अगर मान लो 5 साल से कोई जिम जा रहा है, ठीक है, बॉडी बन गई, और उसको सिर्फ मेंटेन करनी है. इवन इफ इट डजंट कंप्लीट्स हिज प्रोटीन, लाइक लेट्स से ही इज जस्ट टेकिंग नाउ 70 ग्राम्स ऑफ प्रोटीन. बॉडी बनाने के लिए यू नीड 100 प्लस. Let's say he's just taking 70 grams of protein or 60 grams of protein. Doesn't matter if he hits the gym for 2 to 3 days a week. Maintenance is easy than building the empire. Trust me. Maintenance is easy than building the empire. MBBS करनी मुश्किल थी या NEET PG निकालना मुश्किल था, right? Initially it's the toughest thing, and then eventually it becomes an easy part, right? So maintenance is easy. So what they are doing is they are doing maintenance. Now you are a person who just entered the gym on the first day, and you are seeing this guy. What will you think that, oh man, he just takes 60 grams of protein, goes to do 3 days a week, he has such a nice body. Of course, you're not gonna have that. You just ignore this 5 years of hard work. Now you can blame anyone, you can blame your parents, you can blame your childhood or whatever it is, right? It's of no use. You have to forget the past. I've already made a video about past. Go check it out. I will add it in description or in the I button. Already my channel just has 3 videos only. So I don't think you will have any difficulty finding these videos. All of them are actually really worth watching. Okay. Thank you everyone. I'll meet you in the next video. And if you guys have any queries, you can definitely comment them down. I'll maintain the anonymity. And if you want, I can basically go for a Google form. I'll pin a Google form in the comments so that you can go completely anonymous. Okay, you can go completely anonymous. No one else actually sees you. That's the purpose of this channel. We need to build a student community which actually talks about the truth and no sugarcoating. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.